Irrational Skeptic here, and today I would like to do a typing of another Game of Thrones character. If you have seen in my previous videos, I have gone over one of the characters so far, Jon Snow, and if you like typings of characters in TV shows, anime, or celebrities, you can subscribe to my channel. I will be doing many of these typings, and I also take recommendations from my subscribers who ask me to type a certain character, anime, or a TV show, or anyone. So, yeah, it's just something I enjoy doing, and so also don't forget to give this video a like. Um, it will help more people see my videos, and people that are interested in MBTI can find me. And so, moving on, I would like to do a typing of Daenerys Targaryen, also known as Khaleesi. Following in the similar format that I did my last Game of Thrones typing, I will be using quotes from the show in order to strengthen my case that any character is of a particular type. And so, starting out, I would like to give Daenerys her typing. I believe that Daenerys is an ENFP, that is an extroverted intuitive dominant, introverted feeling auxiliary, extroverted thinking tertiary, and an introverted sensing inferior function user. And in line with many of my theories of how each type is formed, the ENFP in particular, I like to say that they are very influenced by what one could call traumatic events. In the forming of their type, we usually have something happening to them either early in childhood or somewhere along the formative years of their life where they get some kind of unfair treatment, so to speak, or they are viewing a world in which they believe the cards are stacked against them, but they end up fighting through this world and finding different ways in which to view the world, incorporating both what the outside world is telling them and also what they want or desire. They may be called bubbly, they may be called dreamers, but know that underneath this is a realistic desire to make those dreams come true. And so, going from the first quote that I will use from Daenerys as it relates to this would be a quote. Quote begins, "I am no ordinary woman. My dreams come true." End quote. And in this, we are seeing just the sketching out of the extroverted intuitive dominant type here, also mixed with an introverted feeling. Because with this combo, this introverted feeling, which pushes the type to really value their or really look at their value system and see how they draw black and white pictures or binary pictures about the world of good and evil, it helps you to understand where they are coming from in trying to accomplish their extroverted intuitive goal. And in her case, it was to create a just world. And so from this, we can see that she is very proud of her own morals, which she had. Through the show, we saw her being mistreated by her brother. We saw her being sold off to Khal Drogo. In this sense, we are getting a picture of her going through some hardships, which she has to figure out a way out of. And after figuring out a way out of, even one of the most telling scenes is that with Khal Drogo, where she's able to where she's able to, in a sense, tame him. She's able to see that she can use her feminine side, which is softer, at the same time to influence him and to kind of have him under her thumb. And in this, she was starting to explore what the power is in being a woman and being a beautiful woman. And ENFPs have this type of life path where they discover that there is an sensing world, there's an extroverted sensing world that they can use to their advantage in their control of the environment. And so this is telling into how she used this advantage to push for her dreams to come true. Another quote we can look at is this one. Quote begin. They can live in my new world, or they can die in their old one. End quote. In this, we are also starting to see that there is a kind of all or nothing approach when it comes to her introverted feeling beliefs. She really wants this fair and equitable world to come into reality. At the same time, it's not a lovey-dovey picture that she's painting. Yes, she can be a lovey-dovey person, but if she has to kill some people along the way in order to bring forth this world, she will have to carry those actions because it's within the world of possibilities in which you need to take certain actions in order for you to get certain results. And so you can also kind of see the extroverted thinking and extroverted intuition looping with each other in this sense. The extroverted intuitive part of her is saying, okay, we can have a world in where things are better and where we have a different reality. At the same time, in order to carry this out, we need to take pragmatic steps. And this is probably a dynamic that you will recognize between Jon Snow, an INFJ, and her, an ENFP, in that this extroverted thinking in the INFJ is a polar function. It is a points of least resistance. So carrying out things just for pragmatics is not something Jon Snow would want to do, but it is something she would consider. And at the same time, she has the introverted thinking as her point of least resistance, meaning she is unable to see how her actions are in themselves not in line with the world she is trying to bring into reality. She is removing herself from the picture and looking at herself as a causative agent that has no sense of subjective cohesiveness, so to speak, to what she's trying to accomplish. And let's move on to another quote. Quote starts, I am not going to stop the wheel. I am going to break the wheel. End quote. This is another all or nothing approach. In this, she is saying that she can realize this cycle of patterns. In a sense, she can see the NI, introverted intuitive truth, that Jon Snow might also be seeing. But at the same time, she does not want to work within the system in order to bring about a new world. She wants to destroy the system in order to build a completely new world, which is contrary to Jon Snow, who, in a sense, believes that there is good in all men, there is good in all people, and that some way we can activate that goodness. And it is never right to take a life, for example. Every life that Jon Snow takes in this show, you can see he has some kind of regret inside. It's not something that he does lightly. While you have on the opposing end Daenerys, who is roaring around on her dragons and burning people without too much of thought to the consequences of what will happen. And another quote that we can also look at is this one. Quote begins, "Let the priests argue over good and evil. Slavery is real. I can end it. I will end it. And I will end those behind it." End quote. This is another telling quote from her. Like I was going up on before, this all or nothing approach, this FI belief that she has, this NE intuition that she's able to envision a world where those things are not happening, and she's able to envision herself taking the steps to bring that into a reality. And so she's, as I said before, opposed to Jon Snow. And if you really look at the complete opposite of one another, we see that the ENFP has their shadow in the INFJ, and vice versa. The INFJ has their shadow in the ENFP. So while they tend to understand one another, while they actually, when they come together, it looks like they're completing a harmonious whole, as we see the passionate love that goes in between the two of them. This is clearly because they can see that in each other contains what the other is lacking in a very complete sense. And this just speaks to the hard line that Daenerys draws when it concerns her dreams, when it concerns her morals, and what she may not be able to see, and what we as the audience can probably see, is that she has been ruled by men all her life, in a sense. Her brother ruled over her, sold her, and the Dothraki ruled over her. And so this influence is very deep in her introverted sensing as the inferior function. And she is going about trying to kill men. Yes, there could be women that she killed as well, but if you find a lot of her quotes, they have a relationship to men. She has this quote that says, "All men must die, but we are not men." Quote, end quote. She has this deep pain, this deep-rooted pain that is within the archetype of the introverted sensing that she is not able to see very clearly, and she is trying to carry out vengeance in a sense. At the same time, she does want to bring about this better world. She does want to end slavery. So you can see there's a contention going on between her beliefs, her beliefs of freedom, of equity, of love, of peace, but a contention along with what she has witnessed men doing, what men have done to her. And once she was able to acquire power, she knew that she could put an end to many of these men who had ruled over her. So, yeah, these quotes that I give are most of my reasoning for putting Daenerys as an ENFP. She is clearly very idealistic, so she's clearly in the NF temperament, and she's clearly an extrovert. As you see, her way with people is in that extroverted manner. She's very perceptive of different characters, and she knows what she can see behind masks of people, so to speak. And she uses this to her every advantage. And yeah, so if one more quote that uh, I'll end with, showing that she is an ENFP rather than any other type, would be this one. We both, and begin quote, we both want to help people. We can only help them from a position of strength. Sometimes strength is terrible, end quote. And in this, like I've already mentioned, in this quote, you can really see how she is clear about being pragmatic in order to accomplish her dreams and her goals. And one of the functions that a lot of people don't speak about when listing out how a type behaves is the demon function, or the eighth function. It would be clear that she has extroverted sensing as a last function. And in extroverted sensing, there is that desire to conquer, to impact the world. And if you look at typology systems, you'll find that most of the time, this function is how the type wants others to perceive them. I'm sure ENFPs will agree with this, that they want to be perceived as being strong, as being powerful. They want to have control over their lives. And so when you take it to an extreme extent, you get a Daenerys, you get a Khaleesi, who has the power, who has the dragons in order to carry out her will, and she has the charisma of being able to see behind people's masks. She has a very good introverted feeling. So she knows people. She knows them at their core. At the same time, she it's it's uh it's positioned with the extroverted sensing that is also having a strong impact on her and her environment. And so, yeah, that will be it. I really like this show, Game of Thrones. That is why I will be doing a character MBTI analysis of all, if of most, if not all of them. Let me know down in the comments if you think Daenerys is of a different type, and I will see you guys in my next video. The Irrational Skeptic, signing off.